Hey, it's Adam, and I want to ask you a question. Do you feel like your repeat clients should be held at lower prices as an incentive to keep working with you? Do you feel awkward increasing your fees on someone who already knows you? Maybe you think they supported me earlier on in my business. I should be looking after them. I don't want them to think I've changed. I'm trying to gouge them for cash. Well, today I want to challenge that completely because I actually believe your repeat clients are often the exact people who should be paying your current rates. Not because you're greedy, not because you're trying to squeeze every dollar out of people. It's not that at all. But because your existing clients already understand the value of what you do. And honestly, I think a lot of designers or decorators quietly hold themselves back financially because they feel emotionally uncomfortable evolving their pricing with their existing clients. So today I want to walk you through 5 really important shifts around this topic. And I also want to tell you a story about one of my long-term clients, really lovely couple. Let's just call them Judy and Andy to protect their privacy, because I think this example perfectly explains why trust changes everything. So shift number 1, repeat clients already trust you. So the first thing you need to understand is this: your repeat clients are not starting from zero. And Judy and Andy are a perfect example of this. I've worked with Judy and Andy for over 15 years. And over that time, my pricing's changed many times. Of course it has. My experience has changed with time. My confidence has definitely improved. My systems have changed for the better, hopefully. My suppliers have changed. The implementation process has changed a lot. I really get in and I manage these projects tightly. But back in the earlier years of my business, I was operating very differently. I was still capable, but I didn't have the same level of refinement, the systems I'm talking about, supplier relationships, or implementation knowledge that I have now. So now I run full turnkey design projects where I can be coordinating, gosh, up to 10 people at once, 10 tradespeople at once. If you have a think about it, painters, electricians, window treatment people, furniture deliveries and drivers, wallpaper installers, art hanging, stylists, cleaners. There's a huge amount of responsibility in that. And as such, a significant fee attached to managing all of those moving parts and people properly. Now, you may still be thinking, yeah, but surely for some people you'd want to grandfather your fees, Adam. Maybe for Judy and Andy, why wouldn't you do that? And I would just say that I don't do that. And I want you not to consider doing that moving forward. The reason for this is simple. They know what you do. They know how you communicate. They know how you show up. They know how you solve problems. And they know how you can protect the project. Get it from A, get it to Z, and get it done beautifully. They know that I have their back, Judy and Andy. And because of that trust, they continue finding ways to work with me, even as my fees evolve and they increase. And that's really the key. So before I go on further, if you've been enjoying this conversation today and you're an interior designer or decorator wanting to build a more profitable premium design business, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I talk about this stuff all the time: pricing, turnkey design, implementation, managing trades, creating better client experiences, and building a business that actually supports your life financially. And if you'd like to chat more about your own journey, your business journey with me, and find out whether my Turnkey Design Success System program could be the right fit for you, email me at askadam@turnkeydesign.success.com. And we can learn a little bit more about what you're currently doing, where you may be getting stuck, and whether this style of turnkey operation could be working for your business too. So let's get into shift number 2. Trust changes price sensitivity. I think this is one of the biggest things designers and decorators misunderstand. When trust increases, price sensitivity often decreases. Think about your own life. Have you ever paid a large amount for something, even though there were lots of cheaper options available? Of course you have. Maybe it was a beautiful car and you got all the trimmings for the car. Huge expense, but it was worth it. A high-end holiday, going in business class travel just because you can't stand economy. Working with a really good building team, staying in great hotels, a really good handbag, the best possible iPhone, the best possible contractors. And what did you do? You justified the higher price of whatever that looked like for you. Why? because the perceived risk of doing it cheaper feels too high. And that's what people need to understand. Clients aren't always buying the cheapest option. They're often buying the option that feels safest emotionally. People haven't got time for drama. And this is exactly what happens when a trusted designer comes in. And think about Judy and Andy. At this point, they know exactly what could happen if they tried to save money and use someone cheaper. The trades could turn rogue. Communication could fail miserably. Timelines could blow out. Deliveries could get missed, not turn up at all. The designer could disappear halfway through the project. There's a lot of financial risk here. The client could end up emotionally managing 10 moving parts they never wanted to manage in the first place, and they don't have the skill to manage. And honestly, once someone has experienced a properly managed turnkey project like I talk about, they realise how stressful the alternative can really be. And that changes how they view the fees. So the fees stop being about, well, how much does this cost this month? And it starts becoming, well, how much stress does this remove from my life? And that's a completely different buying decision. And honestly, I think this is one of the biggest lessons I teach inside my turnkey design success system. You're not simply decorating a room, you're removing all the emotional stress. You're talented and you're leading people through a complicated process, and it can be quite complex. And that has enormous value. So, shift number 3, the BMW principle. I always think about this a bit like BMW, buying a BMW. Now, whether you personally like BMWs or not doesn't really matter. The point is this. People often get sticker shock initially. They think, oh gosh, that's so expensive. And then they start justifying the price. They tell themselves, the engineering's better. This is definitely a safer product. The quality is better, known label, known brand. The service experience is going to be better. I'm going to get a lot of higher touch care. And the reliability I know is going to be better. I can call through, get support, and that's worth paying this cost. And they emotionally justify the price because they trust the outcome. This happens constantly in premium services. And honestly, I think clients do exactly the same thing with the designers they trust. Once clients trust you deeply, they stop comparing you purely on price. They start comparing you on certainty, on safety, on your great communication, on the outcome they're going to get. And there's a huge emotional relief in working with someone who already knows your home, your taste, and your personality. That familiarity has a lot of value. That trust has a lot of value. And I think designers dramatically underestimate how valuable peace of mind really is to people, especially in renovations and turnkey decorating projects where there are large financial and emotional investments involved. Because let's be honest, most people's homes are one of the biggest investments of their lives. So the idea of handing that over to someone unreliable just to save a bit of cash can actually feel terrifying. And I think sometimes designers project their own money fears onto clients. The client's not always thinking, how do I get this cheaper? Sometimes they're thinking, how do I make sure this goes well? That's a very different mindset. So shift number 4, stop watering down your service. This is where I think a lot of designers make a huge mistake. They start removing parts of their service to justify keeping older pricing. And slowly the experience becomes weaker. And this is where I always use the Starbucks example. When you walk into a Starbucks, there's parts of the experience that are simply built into the product. They don't ask, would you like us to skip the trained barista in this process? Would you like us to remove the cup and lid? I don't know how that would work. Would you like us to cut out half the process because you're a loyal customer? No, the process is part of the product. The consistency, the setup, the experience, the system. And that's what people are paying for. And in my business, the process is a huge part of that value. For example, I teach designers to comfortably build things like 2 nights of accommodation for the client into larger installation projects. Now, some designers hear that and think, oh, that sounds so expensive. Now, I completely disagree here because what happens? The client leaves, you take over the home, Furniture arrives, styling happens, the artworks get hung, and all the problems get solved when they're not around. Trades get coordinated in that final layer, accessories get put together beautifully, and then the client returns after that hotel stay and walks into this finished home. Now, that is a completely different emotional experience. No stress, no chaos, no waking up to tradespeople in the kitchen, no emotional exhaustion. That becomes magical. So you can't create that level of service while emotionally discounting yourself or discounting for your repeat clients. Eventually something suffers. Usually it's for you, the designer. Usually your energy, your patience, your excitement for what's ahead, and absolutely your profit margin. And eventually resentment starts creeping into the business. So the fifth and final shift is repeat clients are not buying the old version of you. This is probably the most important point of the whole video. Your repeat clients are not buying that old version of you. They're buying the current version of you, the more experienced version, the more refined version, the better communicated version, the more capable version that they've enjoyed watching the journey of as you grow and develop and continue to support them with their new projects. And that has a lot of value. And I think designers need to stop feeling guilty about evolving. You know, every good business evolves. Hotels evolve, restaurants evolve, trades evolve, hairdressers evolve, designers evolve too. And honestly, most quality repeat clients understand that because they've watched your growth firsthand. They've watched your confidence evolve. They've watched your systems improve. They've watched your standards rise. So if a repeat client ever questions your updated pricing, you don't need to emotionally collapse. You can simply say, since we last worked together, my pricing process has evolved to support a level of service I now deliver across all my projects. That's it. No apology, no panic, no over-explaining, because confidence is part of premium service too. And honestly, I think this is one of the biggest mindset shifts designers need to make. Your repeat clients are not being punished by paying your current fees. They are stepping into this new and improved, better version of your business with better systems, better communication, better implementation, better outcomes, and that has value. And when clients truly trust you, they stop comparing you purely on price. They start comparing you on certainty. So that's the big shift here. So if this video helped you rethink the way that you approach repeat clients and pricing, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you would like to chat more about your own business, your design business journey, and whether my turnkey design success system could be the right fit for you, email me at askadam@turnkeydesign.success.com. And I want you to remember, doesn't matter what's happening at the moment, doesn't matter if you're a little bit unsure of the future, I want you to remember, you are not behind, you are building. And on that note, I will see you in the next video.